And it's a good morning today, being the first day of April. The year is 2026. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Tuku Moita. I'm your host today, and this is Imagine Nairobi. I know we almost fooled you. We said the show was going to run from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. I have a bone to pick with one of the best experts that you're going to find in this country. But before we get to that, Imagine Nairobi is one of the largest shows in this country right now. Imagine Nairobi will give you, I almost say the second largest. There's another show by the same guy, but no, this is the best show in this town. My apologies for that. So now, Imagine Nairobi is one of those shows that will give you facts. Imagine Nairobi is one of those shows that will give you direction. Imagine Nairobi is one of those shows that will unwrap everything that you see on the mainstream media from other media channels. There's a whole new streams, avenues of getting information in this country. Imagine Nairobi will get you experts that will develop, that will sit, research, and give you an unwrapped information in a way that you can consume and understand it. And in that regard, I had a conversation this morning, a very interesting conversation with a gentleman, a guest of mine. You're going to meet him very soon, Sai. And we were discussing the amount of brains that are in this country. This country has developed brains that are so brilliant. And I think that is why corruption has gotten to a level of unimaginable heights. Because unajua kitambo, we used to deal with people with, as Miguna calls them, half-baked, I'm semi-illiterate. And corruption wasn't very discovered in levels that we see today. And I was watching the Nairobi governor, Sifuna, in one of the podcasts within our country, where he gave a picture of how he himself is afraid of how corruption is being developed in this country. People going to extremes of editing government website pages, dashboards, to corrupt the financial systems in this country. And that is a fear for many in this country. We have brains in government that are working to develop their own lives, not the lives of the Mwananchi. And that is why today I have brought a brain much like that, not in the corruption sense, but a brain that will unwrap a whole new level of information for you to consume and know what to do with that information. Today in studio, I have one of the brilliant brains, my friend, Mr. Malema. Yes. Talk to us. How have you been?
I've been good.
Where were you today? Uliamua kutuchezea ile kadi ya Falls Day.
Mambo ni mipango kidogo na pale namna hii.
Okay.
So, but we are here.
Talk to us, my brother.
We thank God. Nairobi has issues, challenges. Imagine Nairobi. I think we might sort out these challenges if we imagine in Nairobi.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How have you been?
I've been well.
You've been good?
We've been doing amazing, and I thank God for that.
Okay.
Yes.
And thank you very much for joining us today.
Asante.
I know you're an old guard here.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
So now, Mr. Malema.
Yes.
This issue we are having in this country.
Yes.
Fuel is a challenge.
Yes.
Rent is a challenge. Food is a challenge. School fees is a challenge. Everything is a challenge in this country.
Yes.
And as we had an offline conversation with you.
Yes.
Would you say we have a situation where we're having a crisis? This is just difficulties faced to growth. Are we growing? You know, they say it gets dark right before dawn.
Sure.
Are we in that state, would you say Kenya is simply a failed state?
Using failed state is...
should we be afraid?
It's a very strong term, and every government undergoes its own challenges. Every given country has its own issues and challenges.
Okay.
And for me, I think it's just part of life. It is growth. It's a growth indicator. By the time resources are becoming scarce and you begin undergoing challenges where people are missing this, people are missing that, people cannot be able to do this and that. I think it's part of growth, and we cannot be able to declare if we declare our country as a failed state, then some of us are supposed to be refugees. We are supposed to be running away from Kenya to Uganda.
But people are doing that. Even
they're
the
not.
government is facilitating people to move out the country.
They are facilitating them to be able to net off that is foreign currency, so that these people can be able to work and remit those amounts back to their country, so that we can use that amount to be able to grow. Because if you look at the dollar reserves in Kenya since the beginning of those programs, there has been a shift, and a positive one, because growth of something from around 25% to around 65-70%. It's a good indicator that it's netting off.
Let me ask you a question, Mr.
Yes.
Malema, because we've gotten into that point.
Yes.
And let me just ask you a question on that.
Yes.
I believe personally, in my opinion, I'm not so vast in matters in exporting people.
Yes.
But is that really what we should be doing now as a nation, considering where we are at? It could be we are developing into better things.
Yes.
I'm not of the opposition to that.
Yes.
It could be we are in crisis. But is exporting human labor when we need labor in this country the best option for this country?
You know, there is need where you have need, and then you have the capacity to be able to meet the need. Just like any other human being, he will always wish to have either a car or a chopper. But can you sustain that life? Can you sustain a car? Can you be able to manage? Can you fuel? Can you service that car? So it is the same thing. We need this labor, yes. But do we have the capacity? Do we have the resources to be able to keep up with this labor? Because if you undertake if you do a research, you're able to see that the graduation, the level of people who are graduating from campus and the available jobs on the market, you can never and you will never match that. So you have to think outside the box. So just like where you will find camels in the northeastern, where there is drought, they are going to be able to migrate from this place to the other. The reason for migration is just in search of pastures. Where there is population pressure, the reason why we, the Bandus, the Nilotes, and what have you, we have found ourselves in Kenya, this is not our original homeland. But because the resources were scarce in other parts, that's why we tried to migrate to the places we are now. So this one shows us clearly that where resources are becoming scarce, we have to think outside the box. We have to think without this box and say, if we have an opportunity somewhere, can we place this opportunity there? Can we get people who are doing this so that we can be able to match? All in all, you can never sort out that problem, and you can never export all the people you have. But the ones who are available, for me, I think it's not a good thing and it's not a bad thing. That's to me.
Let me ask you on that, because I'm not trying to bring a bad picture to this.
Yes.
But we are talking matters of economy in this country.
Sure.
And most especially in this topic today, we are talking matters economy in this country.
Yes.
They say the greatest asset of any nation is its citizens.
Yes.
And some of the countries that you're shipping our people into have tendencies of bringing back our children into body bags.
Sure.
You understand that?
Yes.
Some of the harshest conditions of working, and I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes here,
Yes.
revolve around the countries that you people are shipping our children into.
Yes.
Middle East, call it, even extending to some of the best countries within the Middle East.
Yes.
But still, our children keep on coming back in body bags.
Yes.
And if you look at some of the pays, I had a conversation with a young lady I'm going to invite here someday.
Yes.
And she literally works for us sometimes. And she told us when in the Middle East, and can you believe this? She worked at the Middle East for 6 years. She came back and she's still doing the same thing she was doing out there. She's doing her house manual labor. She used to make around 30,000 shillings.
Yes.
There was some amount that was being deducted for whatever reasons.
Yes.
I did not want to push for information from her so much.
Yes.
And she told me money that got to her mother was about 28,000 Kenyan shillings. Why would you export labor that will be useful in this country and still collect the same amount of revenue from these people, shipping them 6,000 kilometers away from their homeland,
Yes.
going to horrible conditions, and remembering, keeping in mind, this is your number one asset
Yes.
as a government.
Yes.
Why would you do that? What would be the whole essence of that? And don't you believe it's bringing so much difficulty to this country as opposed to having these people in the same nation working for this country with less cost and less headache, less trauma for their families?
Yes.
I do not know. Oh, please.
I think one, we have to put it in the right context. That look, we are not saying that you are supposed to go. We are not saying is either you go or you don't, or you will not exist in this country. This is an opportunity that is being given to whoever is willing. Are you willing? Having assessed the situation, the better thing in Kenya is that information is readily available. You can be able to read on the socials and see what is happening in these places. But one thing that is key here is that there are people who have been working outside Kenya back in years. But this government said, look, we can be able to renegotiate the terms. We can be able to re-enter into a new agreement. See a bilateral labor agreement that as we export this labor, these are the conditions from our side. As we are giving you our labor, these are the people we have assessed from our side, and we are going to give you these heads that we are going to account, each one of them. If we are giving you 200, we have to account for the 200 as they are. So for me, basically, I tend to think that it is not something too personal, because it depends. Just like how the other day someone went to Russia and came back to Kenya and told us that if you went there without the knowledge of the government and whatever you are going to do, the government is not aware, then it becomes a problem. But the government is ready to account for any labor that it has exported under their bilateral agreements and tell you this person is here, this one is working here, and this one is working here. However, we have to agree that not everything should flow in accordance to how you want it to be. Just as the way we gave an example of wild beasts who are moving out to be able to look for water, and they are searching for pastures. Some of them, they will be ate on the way with the lion. Others will come back home. And even if you are in Kenya, malaria can still kill you. Even if you are in Kenya and working, a boyfriend might even attack you and stab you. Some of them are dying here in Kenya. So it cannot be a case of an exclusion. We have to view it in a way that it is general, and then criticize it where possible. For which, from my side, I don't think doing that is bad. But I think there is more stringent measures that has to be put so that we can be able to know how many people are working in the Middle East, and they are under which agency, and when are they going to come back. And this employer who is renewing our contract, is the government aware of that? So that we can be able to account for these people in the right way. So having entered into bilateral agreements, that's the first step. So we have to push for the next step. That is my thinking. That look, even if you are in Kenya,
you see, Mr. Malema,
and you are in Nairobi, the floods will still kill you and you will go home in a body bag.
You see, Mr. Malema, I really constrain myself from interrupting you. I do not want to interrupt you in any way.
Yes.
Yes, you understand?
Yes.
And I've seen, kuna mali umeenda, then you were almost down on the cliff, ukajirudisha juu,
yes.
You saved yourself.
Yes.
Unlike religion, where there is free will, in governments, the first asset, as I told you, is the human life. Its citizen is its first asset. And unlike religion, again, Mr. Malema,
yes,
the government has the responsibility to guide its citizens in anything they see going wrong with that citizen. There is a video I saw on JKL,
yes,
where these people came live on TV, and the kind of information they had on where they were being shifted to, you could tell these people do not have any information. Their understanding was minimal to zero. I can tell you that. And still the same government let these people have the free will to decide if this country is the best place for them to go. They did not have sufficient information on where they were going. So, Mr. Mulema, I want to ask you a question. Do you really believe in your own self,
Yes.
with morality standing in front of anything else,
Yes.
that it was best for this country to send these people to a foreign country without giving them the proper information, the education, the right information they needed for them to travel all those kilometers away from this country to go fetching for employment?
So,
And do you really think it is best in your best interest as a country? We are only 50 million people of us. That is a very shallow population.
GDP?
Yeah.
Against
You would
capital
argue
income?
that.
Yes.
You would still argue that. But let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Would you rather have unmarked graves out of this country, and the same? Would you rather incur the cost of bringing back people into this country? And I also understand that you the government leaves that to the families to incur the shipping back of the bodies.
Before people being taken outside of Kenya in an official manner, there have been cases. In 2018, there is a lady who was murdered and stayed in Saudi Arabia. I think it was about 3-4 months. And she could not be taken back, and there were frankas, even Kenyans contributed to that. If you go to the United States of America today, the population, even in Seattle, they have Kenyan clubs there. The people who are there have not gone there in 2023. They have not gone there in 2022. It's only that this government decided, let's do this thing in the limelight. But this thing has been happening without people having that knowledge. You know, the problem that is in Kenya currently, it has pushed a government into a corner where they have said, let's have this information public. But without that information, people were working in Saudi Arabia. People were working in these places.
You're
So,
really contradicting yourself.
Before
Let me just give you something. Let me just give
a minute. Let me finish my school of thought.
Okay.
So we cannot right now demonize and say it is a bad thing. For me, in my right senses of mind, is that even if you have a population of 50 million Kenyans, what is your growth rate and what is your per capita income? Your GDP. Because your GDP determines your growth, and your GDP determines how well can you feed these 50 million Kenyans. In Africa, the first 6 countries that are leading, the first 5 countries that are leading Kenya in the economic growth, that is inclusive of Nigeria, Angola, and others, South Africa. These countries, they have natural resource. They have minerals. They are mining minerals. Their GDP is against minerals. But here comes Kenya that can compete now jama on a basis of agriculture, that their arable land in Kenya does not even account of 20%. So Kenya has to think outside the box. Kenya has to think like without the box, not even outside the box, for it to be able to compete on the global stage. So for me, I think it's only that this is something that is coming now, outside now, because there is someone who has decided to publicize this information, and there is a government that has come in to be able to sort out this challenge. Number 2, even the ones who are going before, you cannot tell us the government should come in, give you money, go benchmark, then come back so that you are aware of where you are going. Just like a job, when I'm coming from Bungoma to Nairobi, I can't tell my employer that you've given me a job in Nairobi. Let me come first, familiarize myself with the city, then go back to Bungoma, take my jogo and some wheat flour, and then I can be able to come back. For me, I think that one is not, they are not genuine. They have to appreciate the one fact that this government has said, whatever has been existing before, let's do away with it. Can we do this thing on paper? And for me, I'm saying, just doing it on paper is not enough. Can we have a policy? Can we have a foreign affairs, or I don't know, they call it what? we have a State Department under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs
Trade exchange.
that is going. There's a term here I'm looking for. That is going to be specifically in charge of these people. Their State Department, where this State Department has a database. If we are telling you we ask you today how many Kenyans are in Australia, as a Foreign Affairs Minister or as a PS in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you have not to begin calling someone in Australia and tell us, now we have sent a mail that all Kenyans who are in Australia, I don't know, to converge where. No. By a click of a button, Kenyans in Australia, they can get information from Kenya. So they can do better.
No. I will go back to a point you made.
Yes.
Ukakataa nikuulize swali.
Yes.
Mr. Malema.
Yes.
Malemo. Do you know there are so many people that apply for visas for the United States as opposed to the Middle East? It's only that they get rejected.
Yes.
And trust me, you remember there was a time there was having this issue where at the embassy, people lose a lot of 25,000 Kenya shillings because before even the vetting, you pay a fee of around 25,000 Kenya shillings, which is non-refundable.
Yes.
And people were saying over how the United States embassy makes more money from Kenyans than any other embassy in this country.
Yes, stealing from Kenyans.
You could call it that.
Yes.
Trump anatupa bomb, mimi sitaki kusema hivyo.
Missile.
Anatupa missile, mimi sitaki kusema hivyo. But you understand that even on the Kenyan side, there's a lot of scrutiny for people traveling to the United States than there is to the Middle East.
Sure.
And there is so much peril to the Middle East than there is traveling to the US.
States, yes.
So why are the same measures being put to traveling to the United States not being applied to traveling to the Middle East? Because I remember there was a time our women were being ferried by some buses in this Nairobi.
Sure.
Walikuwa wanapelekwa, you could find buses, some buses, very famous buses in this Nairobi. Mombasa Road heading our women to the airport. There were these charter planes that came, zilikuwa zinaitwa City Shuttle. You remember them?
Yes.
Very, very shaky buses, very shaky planes were shipping our women to the Middle East.
Yes.
Why wasn't there the same scrutiny there is to the US? You telling me that people chose to go to the Middle East. If you've lived in Kenya and found the amount of pain that in this country, then you take some lady from uko mashambani, umwambie, bring me your child. I'm taking your child, atapanda ndege aende. What is the first reaction to that lady?
Now what kills me
with the form of literacy that is in this country.
What finishes me most of the time?
Let us be very moral about some stuff.
Your Honor, what makes it worse for me is that I always try to be positive. And my positivity, I take it from what is the current statistics on the market. Like how many people have gone to Middle East. Is there any success story from them?
There is.
And is there any failed story? So we have the reason why the United States of America does all the scrutiny and all that. It's because they know with them, the environment is favorable. Their mode of operation, because we have been there before as slaves.
Actually, I'm not concerned about the scrutiny that comes from the United States part.
Yes.
I'm more concerned on the scrutiny that now, it is on our side. Do you know, I have heard this story of the people who've gone to the embassies, the consulates within the United States themselves, zenye ziko huko, and tried applying an extension for their visas, maybe for a period that is not more than within the period that you're allowed.
Yes.
And our embassies have denied these people the extension to that. So why isn't the same happening in the Middle East? And you understanding the peril in the Middle East is way bigger than there is in the United States. I would expect that the Kenyan government would prefer shipping people to the US. So do you know the amount of money that comes to the US really holds this country together in terms of revenue? Do you know that?
Sure.
So why don't you want to send people there?
Availability of opportunity.
Why do we have all these consulates in
Maybe
the US?
The opportunity
The whole
in the US is
reason,
not
the
there.
whole reason of diplomacy is for whomever is placed within those regions to go and have negotiations with this country the same way you're having negotiations with the Middle East,
you
so we
negotiate-
can export more people to those countries that are more benefit to us.
You negotiate on availability. There are no jobs to be negotiated.
So basically,
The
what you're
jobs are
saying-
in the Middle East.
So basically, what you're saying,
Yes.
you're hanging on the low-hanging fruit.
No, you not.
whether
you
it's
not,
rotten or not.
No, you did.
When-
You even when you are hungry and you need to eat, you can't eat what's not there. You have to have food to eat. So maybe in the United States of America, and we have to be very honest. Kenyans are flooded United States of America. Maybe that market there, they have already filled it.
How?
So we might be looking at,
I mean,
filling the other one.
Have
on
you
this
ever
side.
seen any presidential candidate going to market themselves in the Middle East? And we have a very huge number in the Middle East.
They have been coming to market.
Presidential candidates are camping in the US looking for money there.
They are
Why
looking-
don't we deploy more people?
we-
It shows in the United States there's something to be taken from there.
Why
Why can't we ship more people there? Why are we shipping people
we-
to death graves?
We will ship people where there is opportunity for them. And the United States of America, that's a very big economy. It accounts for a lot of countries. And there is some time, I think around the period of Joe Biden, America underwent through several challenges, that is economically. And at some point, even they were releasing their employees and doing all that. And America has also its own challenges.
Yes.
And most of the time, as an investor in life, you have to look at where is the market green for me. Is it my right time to attack, or I have to wait? You know. So for me, I think the United States of America is good, but how many people are eyeing that space, and how many people are willing to be there? And also, you look at the name. How have they branded themselves? Because like the Middle East, just you are the first person you're declaring it as a hostile environment for an employee. And by you declaring it, you don't know how many people have declared that. So you find that maybe a lot of people are shying away from it. They don't want maybe to engage with them. And they want to go where the name has been built. So scramble for those available opportunities in the US is too high.
Actually,
unlike this other side where the name has problems and challenges, the job opportunity, their demand is low.
Actually, there was a whole campaign run on social media
Yes.
of people voting against sending people to the Middle East. I'm not the only one looking for that.
Yes.
I can tell you there's a whole campaign that was run on social
And
media. Did you see that?
instead of running a campaign of not sending, why should we just educate these people not to go? Because it is it's a viable opportunity to make a
It is
decision.
not the responsibility of the Kenyan citizens to do the government's jobs for them.
It is their responsibility to take care of themselves against any harsh, uncalled for, mutilated environment
If
that
the
is a
government
threat
of
to
Kenya
their existence.
is advocating and mobilizing people at Kabete Technical
You have
to
a choice.
register for them to go there.
You have a choice not to go.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Do you see the amount of bodies that are being sent back from the Middle East?
But
to
me,
this
I've
country?
I've heard the government advertise, and I've not gone to the Middle East.
But do you see the amount? Do you see the amount of people that are coming back in body bags?
There are not too many.
Really,
There are not too many.
really.
Yes.
You see, when I have about 100,000 barriers in Kenya,
Yes.
it might not be shocking for me. But when I have two bodies coming from the Middle East, that is one too many for me, because this is a foreign country. I expect people to die out of malaria. I expect people to die out of disease. These people are coming back with bullet wounds. These people are coming back with torture.
But
sites.
the ones the government took and advertised and they went. How many have had those cases
Maybe
after
it's-
the bilateral agreement?
People who came back took some time there.
May I
But
think-
probably if you see.
May I think you
when-
are advocating? You are advocating for something important, and it has to be listened to. But for me, I believe in prevention than cure. And I think as a Kenyan person, you've gone to school maybe to university level, to a Form 4 level, and you have your brains. And you look at the mutandao and you see someone posting stories about Middle East, specifically Saudi Arabia. That's where there has been a lot of problems, by the way. And not only, I don't know how you will take this, but not only in the Middle East, but we have also countries in this African where they are more like Muslim countries, where the treatment in Saudi Arabia and the Middle East is more or less the same to people who have worked there, by the way. So if that is the case, me as a person, me as a consumer, me as the end user who is supposed to be there, I think it's better to make a decision if I have to go or not to go.
Okay.
And I have my opportunities and choices on the table. I choose. If I go,
Let me ask
but
you-
there are success stories from people who have gone to the Middle
to
East.
bring this conversation back to our main topic of the day in
Yes.
regards to that.
Yes.
What would you say are the biggest, the highest drivers of the high cost of living in Kenya? Because I believe that is one of the reasons why people are bolting off from this country and moving to other nations. What would you highlight, underline to the high cost of living in this country? What are the major factors?
Major factors of high cost of living in Kenya is leadership. And when we talk about leadership, is not the current or the future. It is a historical problem that we must agree with, because cost of living is a contribution of a lot of factors.
Okay.
But they culminate into how we have structured our engagements as a country, where we have given responsibility to a few people to be able to make those key decisions on our behalf. So you find the leaders we are giving the opportunity, because if you walk today in the Parliament of the Republic of Kenya, and you have a policy talking about maybe, let's say, borrowing, they don't think about the factuality of an act or an amendment or a point that you're giving on the floor of the House. They are first to align themselves. What are the interests of my party? What is my party talking about? So that as I proceed, I can proceed and make a very sensible contribution on the floor of the House. Then when it comes to voting, and I know that my master is watching, I have to vote in a manner that it pleases my master. So the greatest problem revolves around leadership. Then professionals that we have in the country. We have key bodies that have been charged with this mandate. Some of them, they are called even independent commissions, constitutional commissions, that have the sole responsibility of restoring the public trust in these entities to be able to manage some of the challenges that we have. But still, they are interlinked with the leadership. So the basic problem and the main biggest problem that the Republic of Kenya faces, and not only in Kenya but in Africa, where we have the potential of having the greatest continent of all, because we have more than enough resources, is the leadership that we have. Leaders serve their interests, and you, the people, you have to remain in a place where you can be controlled and give them power, because their source of power is you. So if you are empowered, they lose their power. So without you having power, you donate. So as we donate power, we have structured ourselves, someone to think on our behalf, make decisions on our behalf, and whether they are right or they are wrong, we pay the price. So the main challenge and the main problem on the cost of living is leadership, and how we have structured our leadership and how we think. I was watching someone yesterday, and he was saying in Kenya, people, they don't go with what is right. They deal with what is it that is convenient with me as at this time. What is it that is making sense with me? Not that it's right, but as long as it resonates with my opportune time as at that time, me, I'm okay. But when the tide shifts and I'm on the other side of the coin, I will criticize, because as at that time, it's not serving my interest. And it's what is happening. When you go even to the political space today, you will find someone who was pro-Shah last year, this year is saying that is a scam. That is fake. So this means as at this time, it was serving your interest. But because it's no longer tenable to your side, you brand it hence or otherwise. So the leadership and the goonism, we don't, even Kenya, most of the time don't have leaders. They have goons.
Yeah.
Goons who project themselves as learned people, people of honor.
Yeah.
And we give them an opportunity. Because when you find a leader who takes a microphone and insults another leader without, so those are the people we need to, we are expecting that they can work on our economy and make our economy better.
Okay.
And that's where we get it wrong.
It's funny you would say that, considering these people come from the same societies that we come from. We do not ship leaders from India to this country.
Yes,
They still come from our own society.
Our fathers, our grandfathers.
But it's also important to note the point you've made of shift of allegiance.
Yes.
Like I was looking the other day of how John Mbadi made his comment.
Yes.
And the angle that he's decided to shift from. John Mbadi has always been one of the most, actually nowadays I don't listen to him. I used to respect John Mbadi with the utmost respect there is. And my apologies to make that statement. I'm not here to criticize anyone. But there seems to be a very huge turn of events with him. Like the other day he made a comment and said that there are no added tax to the 2025 financial bill. There's only effectiveness ama efficiency in the way they're going to collect taxes moving forward.
Sure.
And a thought of mine came to mind. The shift of unemployment in this country has gone so high. For you to recommend that there be no filing of zero returns
Yes.
in a country that we have a very huge number of unemployment. What's your take on that? Because I honestly don't even know how to ask that question. I do have the brief here.
Yes.
But it sounds even stupid of me to ask.
It is okay for me. I think tax is it has been divided into several tax heads, and most of the time, one of the problem we have in Kenya, we should not increase tax. We should maximally collect tax. And key of all is we have Kenyans who are too smart when it comes to tax systems. And people like you today, I'll give you a job of being a consultant. Maybe I'm having an engagement of doing 1 or 2, and then you will tell me, just send me via M-Pesa. There's no need of putting that money in bank, or just pay me via cash. Then from my side, I'm supposed to maybe undertake. I have a company that I should put my accounting records in place in the correct way. So I might pay you via cash, but I have to capture it somewhere. To some extent, maybe I have to withhold the 2% on your opinion.
I'm very sorry to cut you off, Kidogo.
Yes,
Let me ask you, Mr. Malema. Don't you think it is very lazy of the government to try and hold other people ransom just because they cannot come up with better ways of collecting taxes? Because let me ask you a question.
Yes.
It does not matter how many clusters of tax collection there is. If you do not have employment, you do not have employment. There is nothing to be collected from you.
You're not taxed on employment alone.
No, income.
Income tax is not only on employment tax.
No, this is what I mean.
Income.
It does not matter how diverse it is.
Yes, so
it is still
what
taxation
what I
on
see,
income.
What I see here is these are people who are telling Kenyans that we should stop lying, and I want to make that very sorry statement. Kenya, as I talk to you, in the past 3 months, there has been an evolution of number plates from KDV. Currently is at KDY. This means these are cars that are being purchased.
Okay.
But these are the same Kenyans who are telling you, manze hatuna do.
Then
Hii economy ya Kasongo ni mbaya.
It means the government is
And
very lazy.
no,
if
no.
you cannot come up with a better
just
solution
wait.
to
Just
your
wait.
problems, you want us to do the job
I
for you.
don't think anyone has told you to do that job.
They have.
How that system has been configured right now is that if you have an expense on your side that is accrued and tied to income tax, it is going to appear automatically on your iTax. They are not going to ask you to input. So it is you to defend that figure from the system. And they have given you an opportunity to declare if there is any VAT that you paid during that period. If there is any transaction that you made, you are supposed to claim. But they are saying, look, you are paid this amount from this company, which you have not declared on your side. We have said we are not going to tell you declare. We are going to show you the amount that you are paid and who paid you. And your job will now come in where you sold a cup, you charged VAT. You are supposed to claim this VAT so that the tax liability on your system can be able to be lowered. It is you now to declare and show us whom did you sell this cup and at how much. But we now, as the Kenya Revenue Authority tax system, we are capturing that transaction. So it is you to argue against the transaction on your iTax system. And to me, I think that's a brilliant idea but I have a problem with it. But leave the problem aside. That's a brilliant idea because Kenyans, you can't deal with Kenyans in a normal way and survive. You have to think, if they are thinking of tomorrow, think of the day after tomorrow, if you want to deal with a Kenyan. But if you think with them in the same system and the same manner, watakuosha na game yako. And that's what KRA is doing. It has said, look, what can we be able to do? Because there is a person who is having 8 companies. Now I have a friend of mine, he has 15 companies. They are doing supply chain supplies and what have you. And they are active companies that are working. They are doable. And he files nil returns.
First of all, I'm not
so KRA is saying, we know you have 15 companies. At this period, we netted off your VAT input and your VAT output, and the difference was profit that you made. This profit, can you tell us how many employees you paid? And if you are paying for an office rent, how much was that office rent? So that we net off and remain with the total income that you had during that period. So that is what KRA is telling you. So for me, I think the problem is utilization of what they will collect. But that mechanism, I will tell them to hit so hard. Wafinye.
Is M-Pesa a very bright thing for the government to be fetching for tax, to
in fact,
be looking for ways to tax people?
Is the modern bank of Kenyans.
Is it a very brilliant way for them to get in there?
So brilliant.
So don't you think there'll be so many people suffering because money movements within M-Pesa, M-Pesa has become the only way of moving money in this country.
Yes, transfer.
You'll have an 18-year-old with money movement ranging to very alarming points for the KRA.
Yes.
But you'll find that money movement is not an income, in any way income to this 18-year-old. So how do you defend that? I'm trying to look for the right way to ask you a question.
I will defend it because you have category of transactions. And in every transaction, there is disclosure of a transaction where every transaction has a sender and every transaction, the money that I receive, I'll spend that money. If I receive money from Brian and I send it to you today currently, I have 2 options of getting the information. I can mine data from your side as a disclosure of the transaction, or you can mine data from my side as a disclosure of the transaction. So in transaction disclosure, that is where we will be able to establish, because they are doing what we call a trail of transaction. You received 100,000. It was sent to who? That person sent to who? That money went to who? Unaona? The wash flow, where you get money, you deposit in M-Pesa, you withdraw from that M-Pesa, you give this person. So they will be able to do a follow-up of that. But mostly, M-Pesa transactions, they are not going to tax M-Pesa transactions that you receive from your side. They are going to use the M-Pesa transactions for you to be able to settle your tax liability. if you have been you have used income on your side that is about, let's say, 100,000, and you are saying you have transactions where you ulilipa mtu na bay bill in about 50,000, where you are claiming there is VAT of 20,000, that is going to reduce your tax liability, where maybe you paid via bank or you are paid by any service provider who filed that VAT. By the way, it does not come automatic unless the person who paid you has filed. Disclosure from my side is the one that will tie you. But if I have not done a disclosure from my side, there is no way that transaction is going to come to your side. So you will open the portal and you can even proceed and file a new return.
Does me receiving money from a registered number from a certain company that does its filing compromise me in any way? Does it prove this is payment made to me?
It depends now with their system. If they do a filing of that transaction on iTax system, which iTax is currently linked to your number. So by them receiving your phone number, your ID number, or your Kenya Revenue Authority PIN, where I'm declaring I've paid you a consultant's fee, which I have retained 2%. Because there are companies that don't compromise when it comes to tax. They are up to date and they do everything in accordance. So they are filed at 2%. That means Kenya Revenue Authority will automatically bill you the remaining 98% because there was a disclosure. So the only way you are going to be tied is where that company has done a disclosure on the iTax system. But if they have not done that disclosure on the iTax system, it does not transfer that liability to your side.
So take that scenario.
Yes.
A conductor wa matatu in town, a taxi driver, a boda rider.
Yes.
It does around 100 clients a day. Sends via M-Pesa with the same criteria you've given.
Yes.
Number is registered through the same companies of the criteria you've
Yes.
given.
Yes.
So what happens to such a conductor?
It depends. That's why I've said it has a lot to do with the person who is doing the payment. There is something called reverse invoicing. I can send you money today, then go to my iTax system and claim that money that I have sent you the 100,000. I'm supposed to charge 16% VAT, which I have to claim from Kenya Revenue Authority. So I'm the one who has introduced the taxman between me and you,
So
because I'm the one who has paid you.
Actually, this was my next question.
Yes.
There was an issue of people claiming the VAT without informing the other party.
Sure.
So what happens to these people if by any chance that happens?
Yes.
What happens to the conductor, the boda rider,
He
the taxi driver?
has to be sent a message, prompted, then he has to be asked to reply with 1 for yes or 2 for no. So you have to confirm from your side that I've offered this service and that person is in the right context to be able to claim VAT from my side. So you give consent.
So if they gave consent,
Yes.
So what happens?
If you give consent now, by accepting this means that transaction, the VAT that I've claimed from you, the 14, I've transferred that liability to you.
Okay.
So for me, I'll pay 2%, but 14% over to you. So you will be in charge of the 14 because you accepted that indeed this transaction happened.
So what happens if the guy declines, but now there is a couple of requests that comes his way? He's a taxi driver, he's a boda rider, he's a
it is a consent thing because one umenibeba na Uber.
No, this is my question. So the prompt comes a couple of times, keeps on declining. Are there any repercussions from the other end?
It does not come couple of times and keeps on nini because one, there are details of disclosure that you've given to Kenya Revenue Authority. And before that, most of the time, you offer me a service. The example is me. If you offer me a service, the first thing I'm asking you is, I need an ETR receipt. And you will say either you have it or I do a reverse invoicing. This is before we reach where we are, it is an agreement. And most of the time I will do that thing when I'm with you, when I'm doing the reverse invoicing or I'm doing a follow-up because we assume mostly it's company to company. So I've asked you, look, I'm going to do a reverse invoice and a request will be sent on your side, which it is an agreement before it is going to be sent to you. But where you become unakuwa crook na unakuwa goon, I will take myself to Kenya Revenue Authority, file the evidence from my side.
Okay.
Because currently you can use an M-Pesa receipt as a form of payment to claim. Because by me giving evidence of kuitisha bold and giving an evidence of an M-Pesa transaction, that means you are due to give me an ETR receipt. So by you rejecting, I will walk myself to Kenya Revenue Authority, or I'll do the manual filing on the iTax portal itself, where it has given me that opportunity now. It has not necessary to be on eTIMS. I can do it on iTax because I have the evidence from my side. But someone cannot just walk in from nowhere aanze kusema mimi nikutumia so juzi bana, you are supposed to give me an ETR receipt. Without evidence it does not.
So nowadays what happens is,
Yes.
whenever a taxi driver, one of these e-hailing companies, whenever a taxi driver accepts a ride
Yes.
and completes that ride,
Yes.
there is a tax figure that comes there. So basically this is a negotiation between the company that are given the taxi services, not
Yes.
the driver,
Yes.
and the person services rendered
Yeah,
to.
yeah, sure.
So now question is, whenever this person goes claims this 14% because they've used the fuel,
Yes.
plus that is double taxation. So basically this person is going to claim that. You understand? So where does the taxi
It's
driver
not double
come in?
taxation. The taxi driver is not going, is acting,
On behalf of the company.
is an agent of a
So the company gets the refund
Yes.
for the 16%.
Sure.
But the driver offered the services.
The driver is paid by the company. The driver
No.
is an employee of a company.
No. The
I'm telling
drivers
you.
collect money. I've been a taxi driver, that's why.
I know, but there is a percentage you are paying the company
Yes.
that you are working
the
with.
commission, yeah.
It is the company that has given you the app to be able to work with, right? So this means any tax heads and tax matters, in fact, is done in the wrong way. Me as a client, I'm supposed to pay the company. Then the company will pay you. So me paying the company, I leave you and the company to sort out the tax heads. I did a profile on one of the companies for my company to allow my staff to maybe work from one place to another. So whereby at the end of the month they have to send me a statement from the company itself. But the people who are doing the service are the drivers. As I order the Uber or whatever you, it comes, the driver is coming. But when it comes to payment, me, I'm paying to the company. The people who are giving me the tax, which is about, it was about 5% calculated under something there. The people who are giving me that is the company itself, not the driver. So in this regard, it's not the driver who is supposed to pay tax. It is the company that has contracted you. That has registered a VAT voted on their tax pin.
So now,
that is supposed to sort
here
out
comes
the
the
tax
other twist.
Yes.
Most of these companies, not most of these companies, all of these companies
Yes.
are registered under the ICT ministry.
Yes.
They are not a transport company.
Yes.
And they time and again made that disclaimer very visible to both the drivers and the whole country.
Yes.
They are not a transport service company. They are an ICT offering company.
They're registered by CA.
Exactly. So now my question is, there is this, what do you call these remittances of the withholdings?
The holding tax.
So you go claim 16% of this. I used fuel, this. I also used on this side, so I'm claiming this.
No.
So do they still claim the 16% on this amount that they ride on that particular ride?
For them,
Achana the overhaul of the services rendered to the whole lot.
Yes.
Now, one individual who paid for this service, mimi nimechukua cab from here to town. So now my question is, there is that invoice for that particular ride. There is monies to be claimed from that. So do they
for
claim
a tax is 5%. It's not 16 for the tax they don't pay VAT.
hata kama ni
They
1%,
do the 5%.
Do they claim that amount?
You or now the
company now, because the taxi driver is off. There is no way to claim
the
that money.
company, there is a way. They are the ones who pay. They don't claim. They
So
pay
the
the
ones
tax.
who pay.
They are the end consumers. So for me, I claim from them. Them they pay. So the only way they are taken out of the hook is now when they will come in and begin to say, we have purchased an item that is vatable.
That is exactly
So
my
they
point.
use whatever they have purchased as a vatable product to net off their tax.
That
But
is
the
what I'm
tax
saying.
associated with the client and the company who is our passenger, that tax is they are the end users who are paying. So they can only leverage on other services that they have provided, that they have acquired from a different client who is either paying 3% withholding, 2% withholding, 16% VAT, or any other income tax company or import duty, which they will now claim now. Having claiming from other clients, it will now help them to leverage on the tax that they have been billed from now the clients who are claiming to get the ETR receipts. Yes.
Okay.
So if they are providing other services now, like you now a driver, if they have given you fully autonomy on their company, as you fuel in a petrol station, that car, you fuel on their company pin. So that they use the 16% now on fuel to be able to claim that one as an input VAT. The one that the customers were billing them was an output VAT. But the one on fuel, other items they have purchased, trainings maybe, that is an input. So they will take the output from clients, they net off with the input VAT, then they get tax payable. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. That was on a very different note. It really got my nerves, and I said, I will
You
put you on the
should let it
spotlight.
out.
Yes. So now, the taxes now being collected by this government of ours,
Yes.
of Kenya, it's been claimed almost half of it. Actually, it's 64% of it is going to pay in debt.
Yes.
So now my question is, there's a debt expiring very soon. Actually, I think it's next year.
Yes.
Is it in August? I
It's
think so.
around August there.
Yes. Do you think we'll be able to finance the next upcoming budget?
We will. Why not?
Within our own cells, somehow we will have to
You have never
cop a very huge
You have never
chunk of money.
financed your budget in
No,
Kenya.
I know. We've managed at least
Yes.
a few percentages of something.
Yes.
So now my question is, in the next one coming, do you see us being able to even attain a 3 trillion budget, or even a 2 trillion budget?
It's a perfect. They will attain it perfectly.
How do you
Because
suggest we're going to do that?
because the beauty with the bilateral debts, leave alone the domestic ones, is that you can renegotiate them. You can reintroduce other terms. You can even top up and not pay. The only problem you take yourself in is increasing the interest of the debt, of which even interest can be renegotiated downwards. So the bilateral and multilateral debts that the country is having, which was about 3.3 trillion Kenya shillings, that is the debts that are not tied to domestic borrowing. Those debts they're not netting them off. When you come to a Eurobond, the beauty with the Eurobond is that you take another one, you sell on the market at a higher cost, get the difference as an interest that you've raised from the market, go pay the one that is existing, and continue with the current Eurobond debt
Isn't
that you
that
have.
very expensive for us?
It's not. You are trying to survive. We are in a survival mode where you tell Peter we ulikuwa unadai 1,000, John alikuwa anataka 2,000, huyu alikuwa anataka 3. So unachukua 1,000 ya Peter anakupea, unapea John, na unajua John ako na 4,000 yangu, na napea huyu 1,000, anabaki na deni ya 1,000. Napea Peter anabaki na deni ya 2,000. Naambia Peter, na unajua uko na 1,000 yangu 4, nirudishie 1,000. Na tena na wesi nimekutoa kwa line, naenda kwa John, yako ilikuwa ngapi? 2, nampea hiyo 1.
We're still paying for the interest.
So it is just a circulation of money, but there is a person on the line that I'm taking out, but without him keeping that money.
No, Mr. Malema, being very real now,
Yes.
without any
Further ado.
Yes. Now, let me ask you.
Yes.
Does that have any trickle-down effect to the common Monanchi?
It has a lot
and
of...
to what effect?
A lot.
Is whatever you've just explained
Yes.
giving us the current burden that you're having right now?
Yes.
It's a question.
It has a lot. It has a lot of problems. One, Kenya, at one point, we will reach at a place where we will be forced sometimes to control the manner in which people are going to withdraw their money in banks. Why? Because if currently as we speak, the debt is 12 trillion Kenya shillings. This debt of 12 trillion shillings, they are debts that are accruing to securitization of levies that has not been accounted in the 12 trillion. What is our capacity of borrowing as a country? The country of Kenya has the capacity to borrow not more than 6 trillion. Currently, if you undertake the asset base, where Kenya has no even asset register. If you ask today the Republic of Kenya to give you their net standing as a country, even they don't know the cost of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. But when you tell them to lease tomorrow, they will lease it without even understanding the value. So if you look at the per capita income and the GDP of the country of Kenya, which we now use to be able to take debts, is that we are at about 5.7 trillion Kenya shillings. But what is our debt as at now? It is 12 trillion without securitized levies. That is fuel levy, air travel levy. We have railway levy that we have securitized. We have housing levy that has been securitized. We have the tourism fund levy that has been securitized to build the bombers. So if you put this one, because they are loans, you are coming to net over a debt of even about 15 to 16 trillion. So where do we stand in the next 5 years? Is that we will come at a place where, not even coming at a place where, I was going through a journal by IMF recommending layoff of staff in Kenya. And it's going to happen because you cannot sustain a 2 trillion recurrent budget and you are having 560 capital budget in a given country, and you are having 1.5 budget for paying a debt. You have to lower the recurrent budget. Those are salaries. You have to lower these salaries from the 2 trillion. Maybe you have to net over at about 1 trillion. 1 trillion, this means half of the workforce in the public service has to be laid off. And they have even suggested to go to the contract way, where after 5 years or after 3 years, we renew or we tell you to go home. It is another mechanism where they are just replacing the recommendation of IMF to lay off. So the first challenge and the first net effect that we are going to have, leave alone saying watoto wanaenda the Middle East. Now, the managers you have are also going to scramble in the Middle East to be midwives there and to be able to take care of people because they are going to be laid off. So first net of effect is public service has to be reduced because of where we are going. And then if you are reducing the public service, you pay, today I pay you as a CEO of Kenya Tourism Authority or Kenya Tourism Fund. Under you at your home, you have 2 hotels through stealing. You have 2 hotels that you are managing, where as I pay you, you have staff at those 2 hotels. Those staff at 2 hotels, every staff has someone. If it's a lady, someone is taking care of their children. If it's a man, he has someone who is a head boy taking care of his cows. He has another one in the house as a housewife. He's taking care of that housewife who is buying nyanya kwa kibanda. So if you are going to lay off people who are equal to 1 trillion, you are going to lose a job employment opportunity on the market that its net effect is about 10 million. So you are going to have about 10 million people who are going to be unemployed in a given country. A country that is struggling with about 15, the problem with Kenya is only around 15 million people who are unemployed. So you are going to do an addition of about 6 to 7 million Kenyans who are going to be unemployed by you introducing what we call contracts in the public service. So it has a trickle down effect where now this person who is at Kikomba selling shoes, There is a person who was being paid in a given company and using the money he was buying shoes from Kikomba to be able to be a businessman in Ukambani, in Bungoma. Now he has no income. The focus has shifted. The stocks that he was having yesterday, there is no one to purchase because mingo napiga luku nikienda kazi. So sina kazi, napiga luku ya nini? Natafutana na kiatu nivae niende wapi. So the shoes when ulimpatia last month, he is still having them in stock. So he has nowhere to sell. So the debt ratio and the continuous borrowing that we are doing today, in the next 3 years, we will feel the hinge. And this is what the people in government cannot want to listen to. They are very correct and very right. But the facts on the table, even if today we give anyone to be a president of the Republic of Kenya, it is a setup.
So are you saying that these lending entities give certain measures to the government before they lend to us?
Yes, you have.
I remember the president clearly saying the initiative to size down on the government and to give PNP employees the contractual way is their own way of making and bringing discipline to the civil service. Are you saying the president was like
we are selling the shares of Safaricom courtesy of IMF? Okay. We are selling KICC and KPA courtesy of IMF. In fact, they did that recommendation in 2019. That looking at the debts that you people are taking, our condition to be able, they entered into a concessional loan that ends in 2030 with IMF. That concessional loan had a lot of things that were recommended to be done. Some of them which were raising fuel levy percentage, not fuel levy, fuel VAT on fuel from 8% to 16% from 2018, which they did that and came to implement in 2023. It told them that some strategic national assets that are not making profit, in quotes, they make profit, but there are cartels who are benefiting from them. Not making profit, in quotes, has to be laid over and privatized. The wage bill has to be worked on. How? Is either you lay them off, procedure of laying them off, introduce a contract. You can't renew a contract more than 3 times. That is the International Labor Relations law and the Public Human Resource Manual 2013. 3 times you either employ me or I go home. Anytime I find myself in an employment sector and I'm doing a 4th time contract, that is a public and pensionable employment I've received automatically. So they know by giving you a contract, if it is a 3-year term, you will do it 9 years and you will go home. Hautakuja kutusumbua. So it's a trap that IMF has already laid to them. So that as you lay these people off, you are laying them off in a procedural manner and in accordance with the international laws that govern labor and what have you. So it is a strategic thing that Africans are dictated. They are told what to do. And if you don't do, you will be sanctioned. Your concessional loan that you are funding a budget with, which this financial year they are supposed to fund our budget with around 660 billion Kenya shillings. If they don't do what we have told them to do, if it stalls in courts, they will not be given that amount or it will be reduced by half. So what do? They have to push through.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
I feel we should have started with this conversation.
Yes.
Now, I'm still coming to Safaricom.
Yes.
Let me come to the government, the civil service deal.
Yes.
So are you saying that it is very much inevitable that this country is going the contract way and doing away with the PMP?
They have to. They have no choice.
And this is cast on stone that IMF has made these demands.
Do it or we don't give you money.
They have to adhere.
Do it or we don't give you money.
Okay.
So the only people who can save these people who are permanent and pensionable, some of them at 66 years are doing nothing in the public service, is the Gen Z to come out and protest. The finance bill of 2025 was not drafted in Kenya. You do it this way or we don't give you money. So we have given you a leaflet, you as ni kujaza hapo mseme act of 2015, muandike hapo we are amending this, na muandike hapo the parliament, the National Assembly. of
Okay.
Kenya. But we have given the template, content, and context. Yours is to present. And if you don't do that, we will not give you money. True to their word, they did not fund Kenya 780 billion that was meant to be funded in the financial year 2025-2026 because of failure of that finance bill of 2025. So it's that bad.
Okay.
So Africa is cooked and it will never do anything important.
So by you saying Africa, I believe that Kenya, it seems from what you're explaining,
Yes.
It's like Kenya was being used as a pilot project for this IMF and
No,
other
it's-
lending entities.
It's uniformed. It's uniformed. You go today to Tanzania, go to Ghana. You do what they have told you to do. And theirs is to wait you at the brink of collapse, where now they see you as someone who is going to default. Then they tell you what to do.
I'm still coming back to the PMP thing with
Yes.
the government, the civil service.
Yes.
Do you believe going the contract way is the best way? Ama maintaining the PMP thing is the best thing for this country?
It is two-way. One, if it was ours initiating it, it's viable. It will be in good faith.
What's the difference of
But
an entity giving
but
us
if
money
we are
and
doing
us
it, if
initiating
we are doing it because of a white man who handed over a country to us in
so
1963,
it's a matter of pride.
telling us what to do, then we have a problem.
It's a matter of pride. Of pride.
Because it's a pride thing. Because do you know they will have to? You will not only build for me a house, but you will tell me the woman I marry and how I'm supposed to sleep with that woman. And like when I build a house by my own, I know how to plan that house. Naweza lala nje nikitaka. Lakini yenye nimejengewa, I'll be told, my friend, you sleep outside once, chukua virako kwenda kwenu.
I think it's only fair for me to manage your affairs if I'm giving you that much amount.
So that's why he who pays the piper calls tune.
to tune.
I don't want anybody to call me to tune.
So
We have the capacity. Africa has the capacity. But the problem we have,
this whole thing of selling Safaricom,
yes,
so it's a lending entities, me not mentioning the name, initiative.
I want to.
And if Safaricom isn't making any profits, why do they need it disposed?
How can Safaricom not make any profit?
No, I'm asking this question now in assumption of what you've told me is what they assume, that Kenya needs to dispose of some entities that are not making profits.
Safaricom now is not an entity. That's a shareholding.
Okay.
But entities now, it's like the KICC.
No,
Kenya
let's
Pipeline.
concentrate
Safaricom
on
is not
Safaricom.
being sold. Is not being sold as an entity. It's
the
being
shares are being offloaded.
having shares that they deem as matured shares.
Exactly.
That they feel these shares, we have them, but their value, if we net them off using a cash purchase, their value is not considered to what they are intended to do with them, and waiting for payment of shares. They have deemed it necessary to be able to do a net off by selling them.
So now the client
Which-
that was fronted by the government as the best suited person.
Fronted himself, yes.
Yes, exactly. You could say he was fronted
Yes.
or whichever way it came.
Yes.
Would you say this person, there was an IMF hand in it?
No, that one was not an IMF hand in it being fronted. That one was a conduit of goons and cartels from the government of the Republic of Kenya, led by the Kenya Kwanza government, that fronted them because they know what they will gain from them.
Okay.
Taking shares that has a market value of about 380, considering that they are being sold one-off ledger. They know they will be given a kickback of not less than 50 billion.
Okay.
So we have to give him by all means possible. It's either you get or we lose the 50 billion. So he was fronted by cartels and goons
Wow.
who saw a strategic place to make quick money. You know, as a human being, if you give me the longer route and the short route, me, I will take the short route. So they knew going the KICC, I don't know, doing the visibility study, beginning to undertake a evaluation process, and then come to parliament and do what and take back. It will take time. This one is ripe. But now, who is willing? The buyer is here, the seller is here. Yetu utaweka huku, hii ingine waweke. Faster transaction.
Okay.
And they know that one, if you're looking for a buyer, you don't take a lot of time. In fact, if you open those shares and give them a bid, even if the buyer is one single person, you can even get a Kenyan who will offer to buy those shares at 400. Because Safaricom has laid infrastructure in Ethiopia. Safaricom is planning to lay infrastructure even in Tanzania, even in Congo. This means the next 5 years, Safaricom PLC will be, even its net worth will be over 2.3 to 3.5 trillion Kenya shillings. And this means the market value and the share, having to attract a competition in Ethiopia and other countries, it must rise. Because shares, the value of a share is how many shares are available and how many people are willing to buy this share. And what are they offering? So in the next 4 years, you might find even the share of Safaricom selling at 95 Kenya shillings. So a person who thinks of the future can say, I'm giving even 500 billion. But they knew that one will come, and the person who will come, we will not be aware of that person, and he will not give us a kickback. So lazima to control mapema huku nyuma. Tufinye, tufunge. It's like someone asking you, ungekuwa umemaliza masters, ningekupatia kazi. Then uende ufanye masters ukuje. Sasa leo nilimaliza, huyo mtu tulipata, fanya PhD. That is what happens with Safaricom shares and government selling it. They know that if they give it an open bid, they lose.
As we wrap this up, how do we fix this economy?
Fixing the economy. Fixing the economy is very simple. Just have the right leaders. Take away the national treasury from the hands of politicians. Take away strategic offices from the appointment of the president. Take away the powers to make budget, evaluate from the hands of politicians.
Whom do we give it to?
Give it to the independent brains. Kenya has the successful economies outside this world are being run by Kenyans. And a case in example is as an economy of Angola is being run by a Kenya.
We've had
the Asian Bank.
We've had one of the auditing firms right here in this country.
Yes,
that has been involved in one of the highest levels of auditing within our public sector.
Yes.
And they've come up short every time they've been engaged for service. They've audited corruption and verified corruption on our behalf.
Yes.
So what's to say if we hand over these entities to these organizations to private sectors that they are not even going to make it more corrupt than it is right now?
You know, there's checks and balances divided in many ways. It depends who is the consumer of the information and how has that thing been structured. You know, when you look at the auditing firms that have engaged in corruption, they were auditing the government, and it's the government that paid them. So still here, before even I reach to the audit, I'm still dealing with this government that paid them. And the problem with the human being, sometimes when you are asked to take tea, you will take that tea.
You'll take tea.
So, my thinking is, right now, from 2013, Kenya opened itself to the hands of taking loans and multilateral and bilateral loans. Some of those loans that has never hit even the account of the national treasury or intended projects, but they were paid off. They are in the loan register, debt register at the national treasury. But if you trace those loans back, They have never done what they were intended to do. And my honest view is that we began losing track from 2013.
Okay.
And if we want to be able to better this economy, where we say that handing over the treasury to I don't know who and who, it takes us a lot of time. But it's the most radical decisions that can ever be made in this country. But it will take time. In the meantime, the one that is very easy is, who is this that has never been willing for us to audit our debt? Because the economy relies on those debts that we have taken. Are they really debts that are in Kenya? And are they really debts that we are supposed to pay? Because we have double debts in this country. You go to an expressway being paid by Kenyans and it's still in the debt book, being paid by taxpayers. So I pay my 200 to travel on the expressway, and still the government of Kenya is paying. So twice. You go to projects like even the SGR. SGR, the management of SGR is not under Kenya Railways. It's still under the funders who funded that project. You go to the National Treasury, there is a debt for SGR that is being paid by taxpayer. So I'm still paying from Mombasa to Nairobi on an SGR, a cost of 4,500 to sit in a chair that is not even comfortable, and then still I'm paying via tax at the National Treasury. So we have to rethink and tell people enough is enough. Can we understand this debt that we are talking about? Who is the person that was in charge of this debt? And it was taken to build this road. Can we go to the ground and see this road? Does it exist? Because there are roads in Kenya that are rough roads up to now, but China gave money, it was signed off, paid, there is a ledger, kuna pesa inalipwa, watu wanakula vumbi. Kuna ingine walileta pesa, watu wanalipia, lakini kando huku, tena watu wanalipia kwa vitabu za serikali. So that is where there is a problem. And I know for a fact, and I can support that fact with a lot of zeal and confidence, that the debts in Kenya the real debts cannot exceed 8 trillion. They can't. Real debt. Okay. These other remaining shenanigans is just kickbacks and someone feeling, the dollar has gone up and, we are paying with this and we have to revise the debt, and everybody comes in and adds what he feels and they move. So as we are there as Kenyans, we have to interrogate the law. Who is in charge of taking a debt? What occasions are debt in a country? And why should you go for a debt? And at what point? And who is this that approves a debt? And who will pay that debt? How is it tracked down? And do you manage an infrastructure of a debt and in an infrastructure where you have raised through tax, citizens' tax? How do you manage them as the same projects, or how are they managed? And are you taking debt to pay salaries, or are you taking debt to purchase a chopper and run around the country and tell us this is Nyota Fund and we are giving it to you to be able to make them, and you're using 5 choppers, 15 gaslers, tents that are worth 2 million, and facilitating even fare for the people who are coming to cheer you up, and it's a debt money. That is where we have a problem. So before we go into key elements and key components of stabilizing and steering a country in economic prosperity, we have first to interrogate the challenges, the problems, the issues, the real issues. The real issue in Kenya is leadership.
Now, I cannot let you go before you explain to Kenyans and advise the Kenyan political class, especially on matters devolution. Mm-hmm. There's a conversation we had offline.
Yes.
About the pending bills.
Yes.
Please, please. This is a favor I'm asking, because I felt so much ashamed trying to defend something that has been choking this country.
Yes.
Could you tell us what will bring us off the burden of pending bills? First of all, you told me for any politician, the first effect of gauging ama measuring the success of a politician is via the pending bills.
Yes.
Please take away.
Not only a politician, but any given entity across the world and across the country, pending bills is a sign of a failed regime and a failed organization. Because how do they occur and how do they come to life? Because by you closing a financial year, the only reason you can be able to give is that you projected to receive a given amount or given revenue that you did not receive. So if you didn't receive during that financial year, that means that project could wait because you have another cycle, budget cycle, that you will be able to make budget. You will come up with your budget where projects that have not been realized in the current financial year, they can be realized in the next financial year. So as a governor, as a president, as any given accounting officer for any given entity, if you read through the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act and the Public Finance Management Act, there is a process for procurement. And procurement first is need. The next thing you assess with the procurement process is availability of funds. If there is no availability of funds, you have to abort the mission. If there is availability of funds, you proceed with the mission. So, as a CEO or as a governor, you have to be able to look at what is the standing of this county government. That's the reason why on e-procurement, EGP, if you budgeted to purchase an item in the first quarter and during that quarter you did not do the purchase, that project inakaa hapo hivyo. You will not, it cannot, anytime you attempt to recycle it and put it in the current financial quarter, it cannot, unless you go and amend. The only reason you will do an amendment is that funds delayed to come in, and we have now received the funds, we can be able to proceed and do a procurement. So the reason why we are having pending bills in Kenya is because of irresponsible accounting officers that we are having in state departments that prioritize their well-being more than looking at the budget. There's a case in example that I gave you. A CEO has 2 million on his account. A supplier or a project needs 1.8 million. Then he has a project to go to Dubai that needs 2 million. He will tell the supplier to proceed with the project and take the 1.8 million proceed for a benchmarking in Dubai. So when he comes back, there is no any other money that is flowing in. And then this person, he is supposed to be paid. The money that was supposed to pay this person, it went to Dubai for benchmarking. So the financial year closes and he reports them under accrual as creditors first. Closure of the year. The next subsequent year, he is implementing the project that he has planned for that financial year, leaving this guy here bending. Then he ends up becoming a bending bill as a result of a person who prioritized his journey travel and massage, preferred a massage on a project that has been undertaken in the county, well delivered, but he has no funds to pay, because if he goes to the next budget, he will be asked, have you budgeted for it? It's nowhere to be seen. And many people in Kenya have closed down their businesses. Some of them are in depression. Some of them have died because of bending bills. A bending bill is as a result of irresponsible behavior, bad manners from accounting officers that we have in our county governments, state departments, any given entity, who are not willing to be able to look at what does the Public Finance and Management Act say. How is a procurement process done? You have a PRF on your table as a finance manager. It's telling you you need to procure this item. You have a road you need to build. But there is no budget for that. Why should you not stop it at that, where there is no budget? If there is a budget, you approve it, proceed to the next level. They do a quotation. They do a tendering process. Because the PPDA 2012 dictates that for you to undertake a tender document, availability of funds. So if the funds were available when you are doing a tender document, where has it disappeared to? Imeenda wapi? So it raises a question of people who are doing it deliberately. They know what they are doing. They have made a decision that this is who we are, this is what defines us, and we will do it without fear or favor.
Wow. If wasn't a take home, then I do not understand what should be. My guest today was one of the brilliant minds we have in this country. And I have said before, and I started with this interview, I said that we are not short of brilliance in this country.
Yes.
We are really not short of brilliance in this country. The only mistake we have is that people choose to use their brilliance in the wrong ways in this country. You will have a man so brilliant that they would rather not make the right monies through their brilliance,
yes,
but would rather make the dark monies
yes,
through their brilliance.
Yes.
It's one wayward country. I do not know how we are going to fix it.
Faster.
But thank you very much, Mr. Molema.
Yes.
I do appreciate much, and I know that we are going to engage each other some more in this Nairobi Imagine.
Yes.
The other way around. Imagine Nairobi.
It's
one of the best podcasts that you're going to have in this country.
I like it.
One of the best podcast products
yes,
that we are going to serve you moving forward every single day from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Today it was Fool's Day. Lazima tungewa piga chenga kidogo. Lazima wangeoshwa kidogo. So that is it for today. Thank you very much. Until we meet again tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keep it locked.
Inshallah.